All right. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dixie. Thank you for dropping in. I appreciate it. Hi, Awadi. Awadi. Jesus, English. Awadi. Hi. Thank you for the lurk. Hi, Shadow. Okay, hold on. I gotta put my glasses on, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to read shit. Ah, my hair is not cooperating right now. Thank you for the host, Dixie. I appreciate it. That is not what I wanted to open, but okay, computer, you want to be stupid. That's fine. Okay, no, close out of that. I don't care. I'm gonna give people a little bit of time to get settled before I start finishing up the Norse rune history. Hi, meow. Hi, girl. Hi. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, now I'm here. Okay, hold on. Trying to remember where I left off. Exactly. I think I finished that page. Okay. We're gonna just put that down there so I don't knock shit over all the goddamn time, because I'm going to. I know me. Nope. Oh, my freaking Apple Pencil's in the way. That's what's in the way of that. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm just gonna knock everything over eventually at some point. Like, this entire shelf's just gonna come off. But, anyways. Okay, my connection is being dumber and shit. Why? Why are you red? Why are you dropping frames? What the fuck is happening here? Hold on a minute. I might have to close out some of these tabs. That might help. Hi, Devon. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna have to close out tabs. See if that helps. Okay, is my stream lagging? Ooh, what was up with my freaking upload speed there for a minute? Hi, don't jump up like that. That scares me. Hi, Pom. I'm good, Devon. How are you doing? Um, Today is finishing up the chapter for runes in Norse history, and then actually going to go over the actual runes if I have the time. Because runes are a big part of Norse mythology. Next week, though, or next week, if I don't get through all of the runes today, child, if I don't get through all of the runes today, then I will be finishing up next week and then moving on to Egyptian mythology for Meow. She is a she is my crazy cat lady friend. Uh, Demagogue, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Okay, reading time. If I can move my hair back over here. Stop it. Okay. So last time we were talking about like the most common forms of the Futhark, like codified in Viking Age Scandinavia, and so we're just gonna continue off from there. This chapter is a little long, but we tend to get through it pretty quickly. Actually, no, it's only a few more pages. Yes, we've been on Norse for the last couple weeks, and we'll be moving on to Egyptian next. I'm not sure what after that. I have a few ideas, but I need to do a little bit more research before I think about putting them on the list. All right, start off reading. I have to put this down here so I can actually see it though, because my room's kind of dark. From the original codification in and around southern Norway and Sweden, the younger Futhark spread to Denmark. Yes, meow. We'll go over Egyptians and their love of cats and their cat goddess just for you. I promise. I will pay extra attention to it. Younger Futhark spread to Denmark, where the codified forms were generally those found in this figure. If my friggin' camera wants to focus, please. This one here. This Danish row was to become the most common of all. Jesus Christ, Dixie. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. It lasted from the 9th century to the 11th and was the model for even later developments. The Danish Futhark was, however, quickly reformed in some areas on the Scandinavian peninsula. By 850, in southern Norway and in Östergötland, Sweden, a simplified row was developed, which can be seen in this figure here. If my camera, oh, my camera finally focused. Thank you, camera. This figure here. This is generally known as the Rock Row after the most famous inscription in this Futhark, the Rock Stone. These particular stave forms lasted only until the latter half of the 10th century, when they were again replaced by the more standard Danish type. Oh my god. God damn it. Oh, Jesus Christ. I just keep looking over to my chat. I love you guys. I really do. Besides these two main Futhark styles in use during the Viking Age in Scandinavia, in Sweden there was the more sporadic use of a radically simplified stave system, later called the Hälsinge runes, after the province in which they are found. These are generally formed by removing the head or vertical stave from the form. A Futhark of such staves is shown in this one here, if it focuses, please and thank you. This one here. This bottom one here. Oh my god. Okay. Child, why are you screaming? This row is rare in inscriptions, and it has been speculated that it was actually a runic shorthand used in more profane communications and for legal affairs. It might have been in use as early as the 10th century. Dixie. God damn it. But the most famous inscription dates from the middle of the 11th. Although the Hausanger runes were never more than a local convention, it is noteworthy that they remained a part of the ancient tradition. We can, for the most part, find every kind of inscription in the younger period that we found in the elder one, but the type that comes to predominate in the evidence we have is that of the memorial stone. This is due in part to its durable character. However, talismans of various kinds remain an important part of the record as well. To date, around 5,000 younger runic monuments of all types have been found, and this number continues to grow as more Viking Age settlements are excavated. Runic memorial stones. The tradition of carving first gravestones very often found within the grave with a direct magical function, and later memorial stones with apparent magical import dates back to the elder period. The Bata stones were, of course, closely connected to the grave. The younger tradition seized on this idea and made it a mainstay of its work. No, Shadow. I'm laughing and I'm smiling. I don't mind at all. This is cracking me up. I have to stop looking at chat though, because I'm just gonna keep laughing if I look at chat. No, Dixie's fine. In the younger period, such stones were not necessarily so closely associated with the grave itself, and therefore they are better referred to as memorials. They were often put in areas where travelers would pass by and where men capable of reading them could see them. This tradition began in Denmark around 1800. Questionable. What? Oh my god. It should be noted that this new bursting forth of revived runic practice coincided with the reception of the Reformed Futhark and historically in connection with the ideological threat from Christianity in the South. I'm just gonna let you two work that out on your own and continue reading. A famous example of an ancient form of gravestone, which actually represents the transition between the Bhatta and memorial type stones. Memorial stone. Y'all do that to your own. Is found on the stone of Snoldelev. Um, in this image here. This stone, which dates from between 800 and 825, was probably originally placed within the grave mound, but its formula bears some resemblances to the later memorials. It is also interesting to note that the stone was used for cultic purposes as early as the Bronze Age, circa 1500 to 500 BCE. We know this because a sunwheel sign is still barely visible with proper lighting. On its face, its inscription is to be. I'm not going to read the translation because I will fuck it up really, really badly. But the transliterated, but I will read the translation, which is Gunvald Stone, the son of Rohad, the Thuler, which is a cultic speaker in the cult of Odin, at Salhagen. Snoldelev is especially interesting for its testimony concerning an official title within the Odinic cult, which has to do with the role of the magician or priest as a cultic reciter of law, incantation, mythic song, and the like, and the powerful holy signs, the three interlocked drinking horns, and the solar wheel slash swastika. A more classic example of the memorial stone tradition is provided by the Great Stro Stone from near the village of Stro in southern Sweden. The stone dates from about 1000 and was originally part of a grave mound complex of 7 stones. Although the mound has since fallen in, this was one of the first runic monuments to be described by Old Worm in 1628. The staves, which can be read in figure 2.7, which is this one here, if it ever focuses, there we go, in this one here, are executed within a zigzag serpentine ribbon. So I'm not going to read like the actual like Danish, like what it would come out to in Danish, but I will read the translation of it. Father had these runes cut after and in memory of his brother Asser, who died up in the north while a Viking. The straw stone clearly shows the memorial characteristics of these monuments. A few technical observations are in order also. Note that often double letters are not indicated by the staves, as well as other ambiguities in the orthography of the inscription. This stone shows us how these monuments were carved in memory of Viking raiders who died in foreign lands, which apparently was quite common. It also gives testimony to the fact that rune masters were engaged for the carving of the staves. All right, Shadow, thank you for the lyric. I appreciate it. And no, Dixie, I'm not. A possible mythomagical example of such a memorial stone is magnificently provided by the stone of Gripsholm. This stone commemorates a brother of Ingvar who fell with the mystic hero while in the East. Dixie, you are fine. I appreciate the jokes. It makes it a little bit easier, actually. The outlines of the Gripsholm stone, which dates from the middle of the 11th century and measures 6 feet by 4 feet 6 inches, are given in this figure here, if it focuses, so you guys can see it. In this one here. Just a little bit, Dixie. In its inscription, beginning at the head of the serpent, I'm not gonna read the transliterated because again, I will mess it up really, really badly, but I will read the translation. The latter part of the formula is in verse, and the whole may be translated: Tola had this stone raised for his son Harold, Ingvar's brother. They fared boldly far away after gold, and in the east they gave food to the eagle. They died in the south in Circland. That's such an appropriate Pokemon to pop up right now. More than 30 stones from this region and time period refer to men dying in the east of Ingvar. Here we are probably dealing with the ritualized mythicizing of the deaths of men who fell in Russia and beyond during the later Viking Age. The Ingvar to which these stones refer is a historical figure who launched a great expedition against the Islamic world in the east, Circland, around 1040. Circland is generally used to identify what is now Persia. His expedition ended with the disappearance of the men off into Central Asia, departing inland from the east coast of the of the Caspian Sea. All of this, coupled with the fact that this Ingvar, sometimes spelled Ivar, had the same curious nickname and the same theater of demise as a semi-mythical Ingvar who would have lived in the 6th or 7th century. Eh, that's alright, Dixie. I would have sat here laughing the whole time, so it's a little bit insane. Anyways. Tend to make us believe that at a certain point, all of those slain in the east were ritually said to have fallen with Ingvar, a heroic figure from the mythicized past. The mythical Ingvar is mentioned in the Heimskringla, and a whole medieval Icelandic saga is devoted to him. The poetic lines of the inscription are interesting because they testify to an ancient and sacred formula as a way of expressing the sacral nature of battle in connection with the Odinic cult. Talismanic objects. A wide variety of objects continued to be transformed into talismans in the Viking Age and beyond. Many were pure talismans, whereas others were utilitarian objects turned into talismanic ones by means of loading them with rune might. The famous ship burial of Osberg, late 9th century Norway, perhaps the grave of Queen Asa, included 2 runic inscriptions, one on a bucket and one on a round stake, which was made out of beechwood and was about 8 feet long, of uncertain function. It was probably part of the steering mechanism of the ship. The inscription, which is executed in Norwegian or Swedish rock rune staves, can be read in figure 2.9, which is this one here up top. This formula requires a good deal of runic knowledge to read, nevertheless, a literal meaning can be extracted. The last stave is used God damn it, Dixie. At least this Mythology Monday isn't turning out like last week's. I should not jinx myself though. See what I did there? Anyways. The last stave is used ideographically to stand for its name, and the entire text can be translated, "The man is little wise," or "a man who knows little." The significance of which is to ward off the uninitiated from the deeper meaning of the inscription. Yes, Dixie, you can have a hall pass. Yeah. This deeper meaning is concealed by the common technique of stave scrambling. In this case, I really need to have that open so I can know when the advertisements are. Oh shit, Shadow, your freaking thing ran out. Goddamn. Hold on. No, you're good. I didn't have my dashboard open to see when the ads are, so that's on me. If it wants to load anytime soon, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay. Wait a second. I thought that's put that notification. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. I didn't mark that as complete. Okay. Okay, hold on. The teacher's gotta take a drink. Okay. Fuck, where was I? I was over here. Okay. This deeper meaning is concealed by the common technique of stave scrambling. In this case, it hides the magical formula mistle, which shares significance with the word mistletoe, the twig of the little mist. Note that the latter part of the mistle formula is repeated twice, as in the other part of the formula. So I'm not gonna try and like read the inscription because I I don't know how to read it, and I'm not about to fuck up the pronunciation. Um, but in standard Old Norse, this would be read Mistavel, the craft of the little mist, the magical powers over life and death. References to this magical mythos can be found in the story of the death of Balder. Another talismanic inscription on a utilitarian object is found on the Weaving Temple of Lund, or Sweden, from about 1000 CE. This interesting runic text gives us a sample of the curious mixture of love and curse magic and the common blending of the two in Nordic sources. Ow, 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 ow. Not my hair, not my hair, not my hair. Ow. Okay. For other examples from the literature, see the Skirnismal and the Poetic Edda and the confusion between the two forms found in Egil's Saga, chapter 72. The runic text of the temple can be read in figure 210, which would be if it this one here, if it ever focuses, which I doubt it will because it's being dumb, but this one here. I'm gonna reread this entire stream, I swear. Oh, I lost a follower at some point. I'm gonna have to go in and fix that on Stream Elements for my follower goal. Oh well. They're less. More standardized form, Sigvar Ingemar Afaman Mingra, which can safely be translated Sigvar's Ingemar, which will have my sorrow, is then followed by an 8-stave magical formula, Aladi. The effect of the inscription is strengthened by the hidden numerical pattern of 24 staves in the main formula and 8 in the auxiliary rune Galder. The purpose of the inscription is clear. It is to cause the husband or fiancé of Sigvor, who is named Ingemar, to have the rune carver's lovesickness, that is, he will lose Sigvor in some manner so that the runer can have her. The final example of a talismanic object from the Viking Age is the copper plate of Kvinby, Oland, which dates from the late 11th century. This is a truly remarkable... Not at this part, not for all the history, because the history gets kind of confusing. But when I go over the runes, I just might. I just might. My thing on losing followers is I'm gonna lose followers and I'm gonna gain them, and that's just the way it's gonna be. Some people aren't gonna like my content, and that's not on me. I'm gonna do the content I want and not cater to people. Like, it's different when I say, like, I'm gonna do Egyptian next, because I promised Meow that I would, because she wants to learn about the cat goddess, the Egyptian cat goddess, which is fine. This is on my list of things I wanted to do anyways. But I won't cater to people on content. They don't like it, they can go do their own. When I get into the actual runes, I'll be pulling up pictures so people can see. So it's a little bit more interactive. But for this, it's just reading, and it's not like I have a camera where you guys can see the book as well. That costs money that I don't have. This is a truly remarkable amulet, the complexities of which we cannot fully explore in this space. Its fairly long text, 144 staves, is inscribed in 9 rows of bustro fidon, as one plows a field from left to right and then back from right to left. This was a continuous practice in runic inscriptions from the Elder period. The text is preceded by 6 magical bind rune staves, the first of which has been obliterated. These bind runes can be seen in this figure here, if it wants to focus up a little bit. This one here. These signs are followed by the runic text itself, which can be translated as follows: Glory to thee I bear, Bofi, help me who is wiser than thou, and bear all in evil from Bofi. May Thor protect him with that hammer from the sea, that from the sea came, it flew from evil. What fares not from Bofi, the gods are under him and over him. This is followed by a schematic drawing of a fish. What is important to notice in the surface meaning of this talisman is the use of mythic imagery to shape the magical charge. In this case, it is the protective power of Thor, his hammer, Mjolnir, which always returns from the source of evil once it has hit its mark. Also, the image of the gods surrounding the shielded man above and below. It is significant. Oh my god. I just actually read that. Jesus Christ. Okay. About 19 minutes until another ad, so 9:30. Makes sense? Okay. Well, it's significant in that it shows the gods present below as well as above. The Old Norse word that is usually translated as evil is iller, which keeps to its original primary meanings: ill, oppressive, difficult, or mean things, and so on, rather than its later Christian meaning that indicates an absolute moral force. Why am I getting much notifications right now? Oh. Hi, Collie. Thank you for the lyric. I appreciate it. No, Dixie, that is not what was said. But glad to know you're at least getting some of what I'm saying. Jesus Christ. I do need to go pull up Collie because he's doing the lurky lurk. If it wants to load. No, it's the it's the protective power of. Oh well, no, maybe. Hold on. In this case, it is the protective power of Thor, his hammer Mjolnir, which always returns from the source of evil once it has hit its mark. So, yeah, you pretty much got it, which I'm impressed. Because I'm reading it and, like, I'm paying attention to it, but at the same time, like, I'm also trying to make sure I don't lose my place at any point and trying to keep up with chat. Okay, I'm gonna minimize that for now. Alright. Runic technology. I need like a little book stand so I can have like my book sitting up instead of like having to look down because you guys don't like see all of me. I don't want to hold it. The struggle. Okay, this is in the way. This needs to go up here. What? Really? You're gonna do this today? You never do this. Why are you? Oh, okay, it's fine. You're fine, Dixie. Okay. Runic technology, an often ignored aspect of runology is that of the materials and techniques used in the actual production of runic objects. This is one area where experimental archaeology can be of great value, which in turn can lead to a deeper understanding of the inner realms of the runes. Most of what is said here is valid for both the elder and younger periods. We know certain things about the way in which they were executed by the rune masters from the runic inscriptions themselves. For example, besides the obvious physical evidence, we know from the runic terminology that rune staves were carved into the surfaces of various substances. The most common term in regard to this is Germanic ritu, which is I carve, which eventually becomes primitive Norse riston, to carve. These terms are related to the English write. However, the original sense was that of carving or cutting. The tools was nope. My brain like stopped Englishing there for like couldn't read there for a minute. All right, brain, you want to work today? That'd be fantastic. And this is almost dead, so give me. Oh shit! Ow. Okay. Where the fuck was it? Okay. The tools with which these carvings were made are generally unknown to us, so we can only guess at their nature. The famous stone of Egdom. You're lucky I have water over here, Shadow. Hey, my posture is great right now. Alright. Hold on a second. Alright. Egdom tells us that it was not scored with an iron knife. Therefore, we know that for certain Hi, Darvu! Therefore, we know that for certain purposes there was probably a prohibition against using iron in in cutting runes. Hold on. Okay. But we also know that many objects must have been carved with iron knives. Here we are most certainly. Today we are finishing off the chapter on runes within the Viking period, the Viking Age period of history. And then we will be moving on to the actual runes themselves. And why did my internet drop? Why did the internet drop like crazy there for a minute? Internet, fix yourself. You are going to continue to drop. That's fantastic. Okay. That's great. Oh, no, it jumped back up. It was green a second ago. Can we get back to green instead of red? Thank you. Oh, we're at yellow, green, green. Good. Okay, we're good. Awesome. God damn it, Dixie. It's not even what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. It's the fucking wording. Oh my god. Hi, Showtime. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I'm so done right now. Hi. How are you doing? I'm gonna go fix. Davey, hi. Oh, thank you for the resubscription. I'm doing good. It's going pretty good. Um, a lot of Dixie making me laugh and shake my head, but it's going good. Um, it's going good. Hold on, I gotta fix my goals. Give me a second. It's probably gonna reload the page, so I do apologize, but I do need to fix this because it is incorrect. Save changes. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta get it to reload. So it's not reloading. Hold on. Okay, it's probably not gonna reload until I freaking am done with my stream, but that's fine. Eee. Ah, wait, hold on. Oh, showtime. Thank you for the Oh, Dixie, I don't mind. Okay. Mark is right. God, don't want that notification. Hold on a second. Okay. Here we are most certainly dealing with the elemental science of runecraft. The great runestones of the Viking Age were surely carved by means of a hammer and chisel after they had been dressed with a picks and/or axe. Some inscriptions may have even been executed by means of a pick hammer, tapping away at the surface along the lines of the staves. The stone of Snodelev seems to have been done in this way. Other kinds of tools used in magical inscriptions were knives and needle-like objects, which must have been used to cut inscriptions such as the Knevby amulet. Some of these needles may have been crafted from non-ferrous metals or like bronze or copper, or from non-metallic substances, for example, bone or stone. The physical evidence also bears ample witness to the Sacagawea. Hi, thank you for the follow. um, the physical evidence also bears ample witness to the substances to which runes were carved. Furthermore, the epigraphic and literary terminology of rune lore gives us clues to the relative frequency. God damn it, Dixie. Hold on. Hold on. Oh my god. Anyway. Furthermore, the epigraphic and literary terminology of rune lore gives us clues to the relative frequency with which various materials were employed. Wood was clearly the medium of choice among the rune masters. Terms for the runes themselves generally revolve around wood and not any other runic medium. Very often the word stave, which literally means stick or staff, is used as a synonym for rune. I love how that's what gets him a follow. That's fantastic. Oh my god. We get our English word stave from the plural form of staff. This points to the fact that originally the figures representing the mysteries were carved onto small wooden sticks used in magic and divination, and that a shift in meaning took place in which the most popular mode of representing the rune became a synonym for the concept itself. Although this connection must go back to the era of runic origins, the oldest example of stave standing for rune is on the now lost stone of Gummarp, which reads, I'm not reading it, but it can be translated as Hathulf set 3 staves. Okay, it looks like I have no eyebrows. It's fantastic. God, I'm fucking blonde. Anyways, not only did the stave come. Mm. Okay. Not only did the stave come to stand for this. Hold on. God damn. Scrolling. All I know is pressure like a drip, drip, drip. It'll never stop. Okay, are you gonna charge and actually stay charging, or are you gonna start flashing again because you're gonna tell me my phone's overheating? Stop it. I just need my phone like fully charged, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Okay. Not only did the stave come to stand for the sign of the rune, but it eventually took on all the meanings of the word rune itself. So in Old Norse, we find staffer, more usually in the plural staffir, meaning not only staff, pick, post, but also lore, secret lore, wisdom, magical sign. Runic terminology was so well entrenched in the languages that in many dialects, the vocabulary of Latin letters was reshaped by it. In Old Norse, written letters are referred to as staffir, and even the complex magical signs use this term even though they are sometimes drawn with pen and ink. Old English, or stove, which is letter or writing, and Old High German stab, stave, or letter, are also examples of this. Note the modern German word for letter, Buchstab versus Stab, stick, stave, or wand. Another often neglected yet essential aspect of runic technology, which is nevertheless important in modern runecraft, is that of coloring the staves and the objects on which they are carved. Again, The elder inscriptions themselves tell us that the staves were indeed colored by frequent use of the verb vahito, I colored or painted. The latter old the later Old Norse vocabulary continued to use the descendant of this Germanic verb form fa in the same context. Moreover, we know that the most popular color for the runes themselves was red, made with red oxide of lead, minimum, minium, or most often, I don't know that word, and I'm not going to try and say it because I'll fuck it up. This was generally a magical substitute for blood. Comparative historical linguistics gives us good evidence for the magical importance of the color red for the Germanic peoples. The Old English T4 is an old term for red oak. I think it's ochre. I think. But the word is also found in Old High German as Zauber, magic or divination, and in Old Norse as Toffer, talismanic magic or talisman. It is technically a color of red, so I wouldn't be surprised. But that also probably depends on region though too. This is covering mostly like Norway, Scandinavia, stuff like that. It seems that one of the old ways to do to do magic and to make red with ochre was symbolic was to make red some symbolic object in conjunction with a transference of magical might. This technique is made very clear in the passage from Eagle's Saga. Um, Other colors that were used, especially on later runestones, were black, made with soot, and white, a lime solution, as well as blue and brown. Traces of some of these may have been found on the stones themselves. The Viking Age runestones were not originally the gray objects we might see today, but brightly colored, blazing beacons on the landscapes of all the worlds. Their coloring was used in a variety of ways. Its original function was undoubtedly magical. However, this was multi-leveled. The runes were stained a different color from the background, often red on white or black, which made the stave stand out. Furthermore, colors were used to make word divisions, with every other word or part of speech in a different color. There is also evidence that some runes were not actually cut into the stone, but only painted in place. This opens up the possibility of an enormous number of forever lost runic documents that were just painted on the surfaces of rocks or wooden objects, all long since washed or blown away. I love you guys. The language of the Viking Age inscriptions is generally referred to as Old Norwegian, Old Swedish, or Old Danish, depending on the dialect area in which it was produced. However, those with a knowledge of the literary forms of Old Norse, coupled with some basic runology, would have little trouble in deciphering runic texts found on Viking Age runestones. This is because the Norse dialect remained quite homogeneous around homogeneous around until around 100, then East Norse, Swedish, and Danish. God damn it, Darvin. Ah, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. East Norse, Swedish, and Danish, and West Norse, Norwegian, and Icelandic began to develop. But even then, the changes remained relatively minor through the close of the Viking Age. So that is runes within the Viking Age and their history. Now I'm hold on, I gotta find the actual like chapter for it, but now we're gonna go over like actual rune like runic like actual rune lore. 95. Actually, I think I love you guys. I really do. But the jokes are so dumb. I was just trying to get through the chapter. I just needed to finish it. Yeah, Darby, see, the distraction in chat has been since I started streaming. So I pause for a minute, react to chat, and then try not to look back over while I'm reading because all I'm gonna do is start laughing again. It's not ideal. Give me 1 second though, I need to pull up a few things. I'm gonna make this a separate window though. Meanings. I want to be able to go over these runes so you guys can see the meanings, without it just being like me saying them. That way you guys can actually see the runes. God damn it! Oh my God! Oh my God! It just fucking I love it. These jokes are great. That's fantastic. Okay, hold on a minute. I need to do a different like screen for um okay, this works. Okay. So as you can see, honestly, like on occasion, I'll probably just like freeze up a little bit because it takes me a second. I am a bit blonde and I'm kind of an airhead sometimes, but I will get it eventually, and then I'll just start laughing. So, so black, Nick needs your dreams, a feast on your screams. We don't talk about Bruno, no, no. We don't. Oh yeah, I I applaud you for them. I'll have to go in other shops. I've got a few streamers that I watch that have like an actual redeem for a dad joke. And I'll go in there and I'll just spam redeem it because I've got enough points to do so. Okay, we are going to, however, turn that off for right now, and I'm going to take off my glasses because they keep falling off my face. Anyways, so just give me a second. Okay. So, when it comes to runes, like each has their own individual meaning. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, hold on. I gotta move my lamp out of the way. And now we're gonna put my glasses back on underneath. That works better. A whole lot better. Wow. Okay. Okay, so so this is the older Futhark. This is the 2nd to 8th century. Um, so these are like quick and basic introductions to the runes used by Vikings and before them as well. Um, they are actually more mysterious now than they ever been. But in words ascribed to Odin, when one understands the meanings of the runes, they may find. Then I was fertilized and became wise. I truly grew and thrived. From a word to a word, I was led to a word. From a work to a work, I was led to a work. And then we get the Elder Futhark, which is the 2nd to 8th century. And some of these actually are. All right, bye Dixie. Thank you for dropping in, and for the jokes. I really appreciate it. You have a you have a good night slash morning. And I will, if I catch you, I will see you the next time you are live. Bye, Dixie. Yes, it does stand for, yeah. But each one of these has like multiple meanings, not like a single one of these has just one meaning, but some of these actually mean like more than one letter. So like here we have this one which is three different letters actually, which is C, K, and Q. So depending on like the word you were trying to spell, depended on its meaning. And then we have this one here, which is V and um, W. And then this one is Y or the I with two dots. Um, so I would try to read some of these, but I'd most likely get them wrong, so I'm not going to. And I don't want to fuck up like the pronunciation. Um, but like A means Odin, inspiration, wisdom, and so on. Like, and these actually like mean a lot. I actually have runes carved into wood. They were used for my daughter's what's it called? Shit. Hold on. My daughter's mobile. I had ones carved in wood for that. Until she didn't like the mobile too much, so they were just taken off and given to her as a play toy. Um, Not really. No. Most of their language was spoken. The only time things were written were um were for like magical uses, mostly done by like rune masters. The majority of the Viking Age didn't have a written language until later on. For the younger Futhark, when things started to get a little bit more um, got a little bit simpler and things actually like made a little bit more sense. But generally things were written the same way that we do it now, where it's left to right, or actually backwards depending on what the purpose was or the magical formula was. Um, and in my book, actually, there was an example of it being left to right and then right to left and so on and so forth, like one would plow a field. Um, so it just kind of depended on what the purpose was that determined how it was written. Some are written up and down, some are written left to right. There's one I think that's actually written in a circle. Like this has all of the runes on it. Um, that beats me. I have no idea. It's something actually like I actually kind of want to go to school and like see what else I can learn about that because I think it would be kind of cool. Okay, I had to make sure it was everything was looking okay. Why do I have so many notifications? No, don't care. Don't care. Okay. I think it was just like dependent on the item because like in my book and it talks a lot about it in one of the later chapters. I'm just not about to read the whole book. 'Cause it's a long book. Um, it depended on the item because like and what their purpose was. So like gravestones, depending on like what it had on it and everything, determined how it was read. So the item and the purpose generally determined how it was read. Um, but other than that, it's not easy to translate it unless like you know a bit of history behind the item itself. Otherwise, you're just blindly translating. Um, but yeah, this is the Elder Futhark, which is it's kind of considered like the original. And then the younger Futhark is actually smaller than the older Futhark. Here. Oh, hold on. I gotta make sure I get like it all on screen. Hold on a minute. There we go. Um, well, like each rune had a name too. So like in some cases, it was simply just the single rune, and that was the name of the rune itself was what it stood for. So it stood for the meaning itself. But sometimes they were used as actual letters to spell it out, to spell out words. So it just kind of depends. Um, depending on the item, really. Like gravestones they were used to spell out actual words. Um, for protection things, it was used for words and also for the meaning of the runes themselves. Like hold on. Here for R, which is Rado, which is also stands for Thor, and also for here for Z, which is Algiz, which is protection. Um, so like this rune was used a lot simply for the meaning itself, which was protection or shield. Um, Hi Lethal. Thank you for lurking. I appreciate it. Um, and a lot of these were used simply for the meaning itself, not necessarily like to spell out anything. Generally the meanings are what spelled things out instead of like actually spelling out the words. But I want to see if hold on, I gotta check my book for something. Da, 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 da. This is quite literally like going into like. Okay. It's as you notice, like some of these actually like mean like certain gods. And that's for a reason. It was for like what they standed for. God damn it, Darth. Monkey, what are you doing over there? What? Hi, pretty. The one-armed god? Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. There's a lot of them. This book doesn't cover that, sadly. Oh yeah, Tyr. His arm got bitten off by Fenrir. I told that story like the first or second freaking. Yeah, Tyr. It's quite literally his name, actually. In Old Norse, it was quite literally his name. Oh, hold on. My upload speed dropped a little bit. I'm waiting for it to get back up to green. There we go. I mean, hold on. If I scroll down a little bit so you can see it, it actually says here, it actually says Tyr in Old Norse. Because this column is Proto-Germanic, Old English, and then Old Norse. And in Old English and Old Norse, it's quite literally Tyr in both. Um, but book, go over there. I don't know. Go somewhere where you're out of my fucking way. Okay. No, it's completely all right. I read a lot of that kind of stuff though. Like, I read a lot of that stuff all the time. There is one other thing. I figure like now because I've gone over like everything that I wanted to cover, I figure I can do kind of more in depth like a list of the gods and what their primary role is next week. Because I was able to get through everything I wanted to today. Next week will be um oh, nope, my brain went. Next week will be Egyptian. I will be starting Egyptian mythology, so that'll be fun. I'm doing that specifically for Meow because Meow wants to know what and wants to learn about the crazy cat goddess Bastet. She was crazy. I'd say that with all the respect, but she was crazy. Um, this is and their powers. Okay. So, all right. So we're gonna go over the gods and their functions. There's a lot of them. However, we are just gonna go over these ones, the major ones, and the lesser figures. Um, and what they did exactly. I have an image for the family tree around here somewhere that I went over the first Mythology Monday stream. I'd probably pull that back up, but I also don't want to look through it to try and find it because the writing is kind of small and it's hard to bring up on stream, sadly. Um, but for the major gods, we're going to start off with Balder, who was the god of beauty, innocence, peace, and rebirth, whose consort was Nanna. Balder, however, did die. He was killed by Loki, who tricked his blind brother Hoder into killing him with a spear of mistletoe. That's a whole story and a half. Um, then there's Bor, who's the father of Odin, Vili, and Ve. His consort is Besla. How I haven't been disconnected yet by this storm is beyond me, but fingers crossed that I don't get disconnected until the end of my stream. Fingers crossed. Alright, and then there's Bragi, who's the god of poetry, music, and the harp. Bragi, I guess, like, one of the closest things you could relate to that most people know about would be Apollo in Greek mythology. Oh, no, 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 no. Freya and Freyr are twins. They're brother and sister. They're fraternal twins. Um, then you have Buri, the ruler of prehistory, the first god and father of Bor. And then you have Dagger, which is god of the daytime. Delling, which is god of the dawn. Air, which is goddess of healing. Eostre, which is the goddess of spring. Ellie, goddess of old age. Forseti, god of justice, peace, and truth. Freya, which is the goddess of love, fertility, and battle, and then Freyr, which is the god of fertility. They often did work together hand in hand, but they were twins. Um, Monkey, hey, what are you doing over there? What are you doing? Are you hanging from it? Are you bouncing? Are you bouncing? Bounce, 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 bounce. um, and then there's Frigg, the goddess of marriage and motherhood. Or it's Frigg or Frigga, depending. Then there's Fula, Frigg's handmaid. Gefjon, which is the goddess of fertility, and I don't know what that word means, but we're just gonna it's plow. Hel, which is the queen of Helheim, the Norse underworld, who's the daughter of Loki, not the sister of Loki, as in. Hold on a minute. Hi, Misty. Um, but yeah, Hel is not Thor and Loki's sister, as in the Marvel universe. They did change. They did change a lot of that. Um, to fit their narrative, just like Loki and Thor aren't brothers, or in any way. It was actually Odin and Loki who were blood brothers in original Norse mythology. Not Loki and Thor. It was Odin and Loki. Heimdallr, which is he's one of the Aesir and guardian of Asgard. Um, I don't know exactly how to say that, but oh wait, can you guys? Okay, there we go. Now you guys can see it. Okay. I don't know how to say this one, but he's the heroic son of Odin. He tried to rescue Balder. And then we have Helen, which is the goddess of consolation and protection. Hoder, the god of winter, who's killed by Valley, or Vali, depending on how you want to say it. Um, the Ho- okay. Honir, which is the silent god. Um, I think this is Idun, which is the goddess of youth. Um, Jord, which is the goddess of the earth. Um, Kvasir, which is the god of inspiration. He was killed by dwarves. So, little fun fact. Hold on. So, little fun fact about me is I have a phobia of thunder. Um, and there's a storm going on right now, and me throwing my headphones off, um, really big fucking crack of thunder, and scared the absolute fuck out of me. Um, so my bad for that. This probably heard my mic hit my leg. I do apologize. Scared the fuck out of me. Fuck. Um, try and move forward. I know, but I do agree with you, Darbu. Okay. Um, I'm just gonna have my mic down here for right now. And I'll talk a little bit louder and have my mic volume up a little bit louder. But I'm not having my headphones on, so I can cover my ears if need be. Um, but I do agree that think that's a good thing Dixie isn't here to see Lopen. Um, who's the goddess of forbidden loves. Loki, the trickster and god of mischief. And then Magni. The god of strength, who's the son of Thor. I'm so glad my mic's not picking up all of this rain. Um, then we have Mani, the god of moon. Um, Mimir, which is Odin's uncle, he was decapitated by Vanir. We have Nana, the goddess of joy and peace, and Asinja, married with Balder and mother to Forseti, actually died because of Balder's death. Shadow, big old storm outside. Not very pretty right now. I totally jumped, threw my headset off my head, and freaked out for a minute. Kind of rough here right now. Lightning and thunder. I'm gonna die. And then we have Nirpus, a goddess mentioned by Tacitus. Her name is connected to that of Njordr, who Njordr is the god of sea, wind, fish, and wealth. He was killed in Ragnarok. Yeah, Shadow, I'm okay. Freaked out for a minute and just threw my headset off entirely. No, Darbu, it wasn't a reaction to your jokes. She was laughing at it. Maybe a good time to wrap up.
The lion, the witch, and the audacity of this bitch!
Yeah, see, Musty, I don't, hold on, let me drop this a little bit. I don't follow North paganism, so Thor isn't gonna do shit for me. Um, and then we have Nott, which is the goddess of night, daughter of Narvi, and mother of these three, which I'm not gonna try and read any of those because I will fuck those names up horribly. And then we have Odin, the All-Father, god of war, associated to wisdom, poetry, and magic. He was the ruler of the gods. Asked in a job interview once how well I perform under pressure. Not great, I answered, but I can belt Bohemian Rhapsody out pretty well. God damn it. And we have Saga, which is goddess, who's the goddess of wisdom. Possibly, though, was another name for Frigg. And then we have Ron, who's the goddess of the sea, wife of Aegir. Sif, goddess of harvest. So Sif we actually see in the Marvel movies in the first Thor movie. She's the warrior, the female warrior in the first Thor movie, and she is actually not portrayed correctly at all. She's actually not like just like she doesn't serve under Thor. She's actually his wife. And then there's Sigyn, which is the goddess of fidelity. She's the wife of Loki. And then we have Sejofin, which is the goddess of love. Skadi, the goddess of winter, who actually isn't an Asir. Oh, I am Fatherman. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Um, she actually isn't originally an Asir. She is a Jotun who married into the Asir. Um, And then we have Snatra, which is the goddess of prudence. Sol or Sunna. She's the goddess of the sun. She was swallowed by Skull. Then we have um, then we have Thor, son of Odin, god of thunder and battle. Thor, which is the daughter of Thor and Sif. Tyr, which is the god. He's a god of war, but okay. Um, but he's also a god of the skies. But he's actually also the god of oaths and justice. Like he was a god of war, but he used it for a different purpose. He made sure that things were fair, and if an oath was made, he was the one that carried out the punishment, or that historically he was the one that carried out the punishment for people that broke their oaths. Um, um, then we have Uller. He's the god of ski slash winter hunt and duel. He's the son of Sif. Then we have Vali, who is the god of revenge. Var, the goddess of contracts. He's one of the three gods of creation, brother of Odin and Vili. And then we have Vior, which is god of the forest, revenge, and silence. Then we have Vor, goddess of wisdom, and then there's Yggdrasil, who's the goddess of life. But Yggdrasil, which was also technically just a tree, but also a goddess at the same time. And Yggdrasil is what connects the nine realms. And then lesser figures, which is Aegir, which is ruler of the sea. Um, Andromir, which is cook of the gods, and Arvando. Um, there is a bunch here. Other ones that weren't gone over. And all of the goddesses, there are so many of them. Um, because they weren't just a seer, there's the Veneer as well. And there's the Jotun and the elves and the dwarves. And so there were a few from each, at the least. The Aesir were all on my brain on Asgard, while the Veneer were elsewhere. Trying to remember the exact. There's a whole um. I had to find it from a. That was probably like 2 weeks ago. Hold on. Nope. 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 I've seen that one, Darbu. That one always makes me chuckle though. Uh oh, god damn it. Actually, hold on. I think that was. Oh, it's this one. Okay, hold on. So Okay, so a little, kind of going to go back over some of the stuff I talked at the beginning before I do end for today. This out of the storms on and off, so. Oh, goddamn. Son Luke loves that we named our children after Star Wars characters. My daughter Chewbacca, not so much. God damn it. Okay. So I'm gonna go back over a little bit from the beginning, um, which is the gods and other numinous creatures of the Norse world. Um, there's the Aesir gods and goddesses, who are the main tribe of deities. They live in the celestial fortress Asgard and maintain the order of the cosmos. Among them are Odin, the wisest and most magically powerful of the gods; Thor, the fiery tempered defender of Asgard; Loki, the cunning trickster; the youthful and universally popular Balder; the loving sorceress Frigg; Heimdall, the ever vigilant watchman; Tyr, the upholder of law and justice; Idun, the keeper of the apples of perpetual youth. Um, who actually, so the Aesir gods were not like Greek mythology or anything where they were immortal. They actually, they were apples that they ate every day to, who Idun was the keeper of, that they ate every day to stay young. So it actually had nothing to do with, like they weren't immortal like in Greek mythology or Egyptian or Roman or any of those ones. They actually like ate apples to stay young and live for very long periods of time. Um, Bragi, the court poet, and many other lesser known gods and goddesses, such as Vili and Ve, Forseti, Givjan, Sif, Borgin, and there's two of them. Jord, Sol, and Mani, Uller, Honir, Vidar, Hoder, Vali, Hermod, and Loder. And then there's the Vanir gods and goddesses, which is the second tribe of deities. Um, they tend to be more associated with the natural world. Then the Aesir, among them are Freya, the most popular goddess among the heathen Norse, and Freyr, Nord, and Nerthus, the keepers and bringers of peace and wealth. The obscure figures, Gulveig and Oder, should probably be grouped with the Vanir as well. Thank for the lyric, Musty. The giants, or more properly called the Devourers, or the Jotun, um, were the chaotic spirits of night, darkness, winter, and death, who are often the enemies of the Aesir. Among them are Hel, the ruler of the underworld; the huntress Skadi; Aegir and Ron, the rulers of the sea; the hermaphroditic Ymir, the first being in the Norse creation narrative; Fenrir, the wolf who consumes Odin during Ragnarok; Jormungand, the sea serpent who encircles the landmass where humanity lives; Nidhogg, the snake who gnaws at the roots of the world tree Yggdrasil; Skoll and Hati, the wolves who hunt the sun and the moon; Surt, whose flaming sword burns the world during Ragnarok; and Garm, an obscure canine who seems to have been, for all practical purposes, synonymous with Fenrir. There was also the elves, light, beautiful demigod-like beings; dwarves, which were master craftspeople who live underground. So like in Marvel, you see they go to the Dying Star, where Mjolnir was made. And that's actually incorrect. It was made underground on the dwarves' home planet, technically. Um, then there was the land spirits, the animating spirits of a particular locality. Human ancestors, the worship of whom was an integral part of the pre-Christian Germanic religion. Then there's the Valkyries, female helping spirits of Odin, who influenced the outcome of battles and bore some of the dead back to Valhalla. Others of Odin's helping spirits include the eight-legged horse Sleipnir and the ravens Hugin and Munin. Then there's Ask and Embla, the first human man and woman to be created. Basically Adam and Eve, but instead of but they were made but Ask and Embla were made out of tree trunks. Um, then there's the Norns, extremely powerful female entities whose whims became the fate of all other beings, including even the gods. They are actually the parent. They are actually the mothers of, I believe it is Heimdall. Um, Actually, give me a second. I think I have a picture of it. Give me 2 seconds. I believe I have a picture of it, or I did have a picture of it. I don't know where it went. Ah, here it is. Gameplay. Okay. So, ooh, is that what I wanted? So actually, here are um, these are the Norns. Um, Here. And Heimdall is their child. Which, don't ask me, doesn't make any sense how they freaking that don't know. Don't ask me. Then there's the Desir, which are female spirits whose precise identity is highly ambiguous and varies from source to source. And then there's Kvasir, the wisest of all beings, who was murdered and had his blood brewed into the meat of poetry. Um, and those are just like the main ones. There's a lot. Um, there's so many. Um, Except for the Veneer. The Veneer were kind of a small group. But the Asir gods and goddesses, it's a long list. The giants isn't very big. As like the notable ones, the ones that actually like made it into most of the stories, weren't very big either. Um, but most of them, most of them are covered under Asir here, which is a long page. Um, it's a lot to go over. And then the elves and the dwarves, land spirits, ancestors, Valkyries, and then others. Under others, there. Oh my God, stop it. There's the Norns, Desir, Asken Embla, Sleipnir, Hugin and Munin, which were Odin's ravens. Berserkers and other shamanic warriors, Mimir, um, the Einherjar, and Kvasir. There's a lot under cosmetology. I do highly recommend this website for people that are interested in looking more into Norse mythology. Um, it does have a lot of information. It has a lot of information. Oh yeah, and then there's the nine realms, which is Midgard, which is where humans live, Asgard, which is where the Aesir are, Vanaheim is the Vanir, um, Jotunheim is the Jotun or the giants, Niflheim and Muspelheim were ice and fire, respectively. Um, and then Alfheim is the elves, Nidavellir is the dwarves, and then Hel, named after Hel herself, which is the underworld. And they are all brought together by Yggdrasil, which connects all of them. And then Valhalla, the Bifrost. Hi Trippy. You suck at messaging me back, by the way. Yeah. You missed it, Trippy. You missed me freaking out on stream. That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have to go back and like clip that of me throwing my headphones off. It happened, so now I have to like go back and like find it. I totally freaked out. Um, but you missed me freaking out on stream because of the thunderstorm that's happening here because I have a phobia of thunder. Okay, Darbu. That's fine. I get that. I do that all the time. Yeah, no, Trippy, you missed me freaking out because of thunder. I threw my headphones off. Freaked out for a good minute. You missed it. Shadow came back like after it. I've been terrified of thunder since I was little, and I've like it's and like generally they say it's something you grow out of. I never did. I never grew out of it. So like anytime there's a lot of thunder, I just everybody says there's fight and flight, but there's also freeze, and I do the freeze. It's fight, flight, and freeze. And I do the big freeze when there's thunder. Um, but I totally fucking just flip my headphones off. I'm gonna have to find it and clip it when I go back. I'm gonna go back and rewatch and then find it and clip it. Um, but it was not pretty. It's not pretty by any means. Totally freaked out. Flip shit for a good minute. Okay, my phone's charged now. I don't have to have it on the charger anymore. Why do I have Twitter notifications? Um, but that's gonna be all for Norse mythology for Mythology Monday. Um, Next week we will be starting in on Egyptian mythology. Where's Meow when I need her to tell her that we're gonna be doing Norse mythology or not Norse Egyptian mythology next week? She's gonna want to be here for that. It's okay. I'll find her in I'll find her in somebody else's stream. I always do. She always pops up. I'll find her. Yeah. Um. Ooh, I'm at 489. So yeah, my goal for this week are up on the screen. Those are my weekly goals. I'm almost to my follower goal already. That's all of like last week. Like last week I got so many followers. I've been doing so much networking. Promoting myself like everywhere I can. Dropping in on people all the time. Um, but that'll be the end for today. I'm gonna be rating out to someone who dropped in earlier. I'm gonna be rating out. And then if the weather permits, I'll be back up live a little bit later. If not, I will post it up on Twitter that I won't be going live, and I will be live tomorrow for Hollow Knight Tuesday. see if I can get any farther in Hollow Knight without getting my shit kicked in. We'll see. Um, it will be live tomorrow, though, most definitely, as long as weather permits. If it does not, I will be posting it up on Twitter to let everybody know that I won't be live. Like I did today when I said that Mythology Monday was going to be pushed back. So, thank you again to everybody that dropped in. He got a little bit dicey there towards the end when I freaked out, but I'm just glad my stream didn't cut out. And I will see everybody either later if I go live or tomorrow. And thank you again. We are going to be raiding out though, so give me just a moment. Please stick around for the raid. So please do stick around for this raid. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, thank you very much.